Right, again for the third time. We've had quite a few problems in this game tonight. Okay, so we had qualifying, and then unfortunately Ipswich was kicked from the game, so we're restarting the race with a rolling start in the grid positions where qualifying finished. So the race will start, according to Ipswich, I believe, on lap 3 from a rolling start. I will have to drive around and retire my car in a safe place in the pit lane. So, I don't know, wet set up for this track. So it's going to be an onboard guide to the track in the rain for the first couple of laps. But once I get to the end of the first lap, I will pull in and retire, and then I will be on commentary after that. So in theory the field should get into the order of qualifying. As the weather forecast was heavy rain for 45 minutes, it will be set as such. So, more or less it will be like a safety car. We apologise for the problems, but hopefully we can get the race going. Guess a little bit of practice in case it rains in the F4 race tomorrow. Right, so that little chore's out of the way. Right, while the rolling start continues, just going to make sure my audio settings are correct. Okay, I think we've got the show on the road finally. So, those watching, welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix Formula 4. And, oh, Jake's been disqualified, and we haven't been rolled to start yet. And there's sure what happened there. So before Jake was disqualified, let's just run through the, what should be the grid order before the rolling start ends. Gamer got pole position, Sergeant was second, That's a Boy third, Tranquility fourth, Parkway Drive fifth, Mayhem sixth, Fanus seventh, Ipswich eighth, Uni 1 Kentucky ninth, Rasconite 10th, Tammet Fox 11th, Carwell 12th at the moment. Jake disqualified, I'm not sure why. Speeding, parked in a dangerous location, Jake did apparently, and drive through for Carwell for speeding under the virtual safety car. I'm really not sure what's going on. So we are now away on lap 3. Sergeant's looking at the back. Oh, and Gamer's gone wide, and so did Sergeant. Sergeant couldn't take advantage of that. Remember, if Sergeant wins his race and Tranquility finishes low than 7th, he will be the F4 champion. But at the moment, Gamer regains his composure as they go through the S's. There is not a lot of grip out there at the moment. So, Sergeant has dropped back a little bit. So That's Boy and the other Toro Rosso is fending off Tranquility. Tranquility looking for a move there. Then we've got the two Williams drivers of Parkway and Mayhem just behind in 5th and 6th. Fanus in 7th, Ipswich in 8th, Kentucky 9th, and Rasconite rounds up the points in 10th. So, as we head for the curve, Game has the advantage, of course, of not having to look through the spray. He can pick his line. So the top 3 starting to pull away slightly from UK Tranquility. And who's going to be brave enough to go at full speed through 130R in these conditions, I wonder? A brave man. Boy gets a slightly better exit out of the final corner and he's right behind Sergeant's. Through the slipstream, and I think That's a Boy. He's going to look for a move down the inside. Oh, and he takes it, and Gamer goes wide again. Excellent pass from That's a Boy in these conditions. So we have a Toro Rosso 1-2 at the moment. Sergeant's struggling a little bit in these conditions, it seems. And Mayhem's made his way up to 4th, Vannis up to 5th, and Ipswich 6th, Parkway 7th. And UK Tranquility, something must have happened to him because he was running in 4th and he dropped right down. Let's keep an eye on the leaders. Oh well, this happens back at the moment. So, Gamer first. That's a Boy second. Gamer is going to have to go defensive because it really looks like That's a Boy has really good speed in these treacherous conditions. As they go up the hill towards 130R, That's a Boy gets ever closer. Let's go on board, and he's going to actually try and go down the inside at 130R. Oh, he gets slightly close. Gamer gets a better run, maintains it for now into the last chicane. Goes a little deep into the chicane. That's a Boy. Excellent run out of the final chicane. He's going to be alongside him already. The two Toro Rosso drivers. They've got to be so careful here. Slightest bit of contact and it's all over for them. Late braking. That's a Boy takes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix. with another excellent move, and now Sargent's just having a look at Gamer. But he has to back off. So, Mayhem's running in fourth, with Fannis right behind him, who is known to be quite good in the wet conditions. Oh, Ipswich nearly losing the back end, coming up to the end of Sector 1. Parkway Drive in 8th, Eco Throne Now back to the front. That's a boy, took the lead at the start of lap 5 on the main straight. Hasn't pulled away though from his teammate yet. And the two Toro Rossos. Ooh! Gamer nearly lost the back end, but he held it pretty well there. Well, they are oversteering all over the place. There is no grip off the line. Gamer may think about lining it up for a pass on the straight. I think he's not close enough to remove the 130R, surely. Oh, and again. That's a boy, really captures it. Let's see this again. Two Toro Rossos having a fantastic scrap at the front with this Japanese Grand Prix lead. Sargent dropping back from the two now. May just be playing it safe for the championship, who knows. Doesn't look like he has the pace in these conditions at the moment. These two Toro Rossos at the front. Gamer was on pole position. That's a boy starting in third, first past Sargent a couple of laps ago, and then he closed on Gamer and passed him. It's, hasn't pulled away yet. I completely agree with you on that comment. Yeah, if you're running no assists, that's going to be an extreme challenge to say the least. So about a half a second gap between the two Toro Rossos at the moment. Sargent has dropped back to 3 seconds, and now Mayhem and Fannis are closing the gap to the championship leader. I think, as it stands early on in this race, I don't think there's much chance that Sargent is going to seal the championship here today, but he will extend his lead if it stays like this, regardless, because his two closest rivals, the two Red Bulls of Ipswich and Tranquility, are not in the top 6. That's a not great view. This is better. Oh, you don't want to put a wheel on the curb. They both did that. Nearly paid the price, but they held it well. These two seem to have very even performance here. Can that's a boy eke out an advantage just to get out of the slipstream of Gamer, who is so close at the moment. Red Bull may be leading the Constructors' Championship, but it's the sister team that is stealing the show so far here. And in the background, we see Sargent as Mayhem caught up to him now. And Fannis as well. Stick with this for a bit just to see if Sargent can hold the final podium position. Ooh, and a little kick on the car there from Mayhem, and he has lost the place as a result. Now Fannis has been promoted to 4th place. He will now give chase. Yeah, could be right there, Connor. If he is on medium traction control, that would explain his lack of pace. Because as we've seen this season with 6 wins, Sargent has been more often than not the quickest on the F4 grid. So back to the front, it is still the two Toro Rossos. It's less than a second between them. See what happens when they go through 130R. Take it slightly, they both lifted off. Now let's just see the battle for third. Allison get a good exit, maybe he can challenge for third place. Now, that's a boy has eked out a slight advantage. Just under 7 attempts. Sergeant managed to hold off Fanders there. Right, quick look on penalties. Ooh, lots of Carwell had a drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car, and then he got 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Raskinite had to stop-go for corner cutting. Ipswich is 3 seconds, Raskinite another 3 seconds. 3 seconds for Tranquility. So it's not going well for the Red Bulls. Another 3 seconds for Carwell. And Sargent got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. So that could play into the hands of the two behind him if they keep it clean. So at the moment, Sargent is really net 5th, not 3rd, because of that 1 3-second penalty he has for multiple warnings. Let's go on board with Panis as we go up the hill to 130R. Let's see if he can get closer. Oh, Sargent back kicks out there. Yeah, it's not that close to him. Panis can focus all his efforts, and he is definitely closing the gap to the championship leader. He runs a little wide. He corrects it. Both decent exits out of the last corner, heading onto the main straight. Oh, and Sargent is really struggling with the grip on the rear end. And now Fanas surely will have a chance here to take 3rd place in the Japanese Grand Prix. No, ooh, no, Sargent goes wide, still wide, and I think Fanas is going to have him. There he is, right there. And yes, he's got the speed. Fanas gets the move done. He's up to 3rd. Sargent just hasn't got the grip. Gamer's now dropped to 1.2 seconds behind Datsaboy. Oh, Datsaboy runs wide though. Massively cuts the corner there. That has allowed Gamer to get close again. This is definitely not over yet. See if there's anything else going on lower down in the... Nope, let's go back to the front. So let's see what the gap is. It says 1.6, but certainly it will be less than that because of that's a boy's mistake in sector 1. Just after sector 1. And now Gamer closing the gap as they go through 130R. Can he get a good run onto the home straight? Can he get a better exit which would give him a chance to retake the lead for the Japanese Grand Prix? In the background see Fanas leading Sargent and Mayhem through the final chicane, but we're going to keep with the leaders here. Got the slipstream, but I don't think it's close enough. That could be a real dive bomb. Not advisable in these conditions. Runs a little wide, so Datsaboy maintains the lead of this race. Oh, and Sargent's run wide again. Mayhem, I think he's going to have the run on him going into the S's, and he has taken 4th place. Sargent's just going down. Fanas is, I think I read that's 4.8 seconds behind the leaders, so I will keep an eye on that gap. So Mayhem 2nd, 4th, and Sargent with that 3-second penalty, he's going to have to somehow find one of the drives of the season from his point of view to get on the podium now. So behind him is Ipswich, who's Ipswich with Parkway behind in 7th. Samo Fox running in 8th. UK Tranquility, well, he's running in 9th. This is not good for his championship chances. I mean, with 4 races to go, including this one, it was as, oh, Carwell has retired. And will that bring out a safety car, I wonder? Virtual safety car. Now, obviously, because it's wet conditions, the tyre wear is not as much of an issue, but so I don't expect anyone to pit after only 10 laps on these tyres. Still under virtual safety car conditions. You have to maintain the delta between the car in front of you, to the car in front of you rather. The Sargent has really dropped back from these two. I wonder, with the lack of grip he has, how far will he drop? He's going very slowly. So, virtual safety car over. So, that's the boy leading his Toro Rosso teammate. Game up, who won the Singapore Grand Prix, and he's looking good for another excellent result. But Fanas has really used his virtual safety car to good effect. He's really closed the gap. He was around 4.8 earlier, now he's only 2.1 seconds, and Mayhem has followed him closely. So earlier on the Toro Rossos were really charging away from the rest of the field, but we could have a Manor and a Williams getting involved on the fun. We had 4 cars battling for the lead near the end of the German Grand Prix a couple of rounds ago. Could we get a repeat of that at Japan in these terrible conditions? Leads game as they're going to 130R. Fanas in 3rd place. Mayhem gets slightly out of shape, so nothing to about. He's getting closer to Fanas here. He made a mistake earlier in the race. Oh, and Raskanite has now retired. Not sure what happened to him. Doesn't say. Well, perhaps he just had enough of the rain. But it wasn't a crash, so that's probably why I didn't bring out any sort of virtual or real safety car. So that's the boy beginning to settle down a little bit. He's got a bit more of a gap to his teammate. Gets around a second. And has had a bit of oversteer as he comes out with the hairpin. He had got the gap down to 2.1, but now it's creeping up again as he's having to defend from Mayhem behind. Right, let's go on board with Mayhem. Let's see if he can challenge for 3rd place. It's not close enough, 130R, but get a good braking. Perhaps he can get a run on the home straight. See the 2 Toro Rossos just ahead, just entering just for the start of lap 13. more or less half distance now. Quite close enough. So, this is the first commentary I've done on my own, so it's been quite eventful. We had qualifying in the dry, and there was forecasts of rain, but then we had some connection issues, so we had to do a rolling start of the race in the finished qualifying positions under full wet conditions, which is what the weather forecast was. And we've had a couple of retirements. Jake was disqualified. I'm still not sure why he was disqualified, but perhaps we'll find out after the race. And well, Gamer started on pole. He's running in second, but Datsaboy from third on the grid passed Sargent, the F4 Championship leader, and then overtook his teammate, and he's been leading since. He had one virtual safety car, which allowed Fanas and Mayhem to catch up, which they took advantage of, but they are slowly dropping back from the two leaders again. Let's see what Sargent's doing at the moment, and he's now been caught by Ipswich. Now, the esteemed Big C informed us earlier that he thinks that Sargent's running medium traction control, and because we've seen him really struggle with the rear the whole race. He started in second, and he's been just dropping back throughout the race, being on the back foot. So let's see if Ipswich can add insult to injury by dropping him another place. And Sargent peels off into the pits. So I haven't actually run a race in Japan yet, so I'm not sure what the tyre wear is like with the wet tyres. I would imagine it's just a one stop on the rain here. So, here comes, Sargent comes out in 6th. Vanas also pitted, and comes out in 5th. Datsaboy also pitted, so Gamer for now inherits the lead, Mayhem in 2nd, Ipswich in 3rd, Datsaboy's in 4th, so not sure of the undercut here. Tamworth managed to jump ahead of Sargent as he came out of the pits. So, all eyes on Gamer. The man is starting pole position. I would imagine, it's a little wide there. He's struggling with the grip a bit. Now, a pit stop here is around anywhere between 21 to 24 seconds, depending on how quick the pit stop was. I'm not sure if the wet conditions have any effect on that time, but that's based on the dry time. So let's see, the gap to Datsaboy is 19 seconds, so the Gamer comes in now, that isn't going to be enough. He will be undercut, no question about it. He comes in and hits, so we'll see where he comes out, but I suspect Datsaboy should retake the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix once everyone's pitted. Mayhem has gone into pits as well. Here comes Datsaboy on the main straight. Where will he come out? And there's his teammate in the background there. Oh, and Datsaboy runs very wide. Those tyres up to temperature yet, but he's still, the gap was a lot closer before the pit stops, but thanks to the undercut he's gained a bit of an advantage. Raskin's left the lead section. So Gamer, we'll see where the gap is when he goes through sector 1. Nearly 3 seconds. And I don't think anyone will have to pit again. So Gamer's going to have to really put the hammer down and see if he can get back at that boy, but it's going to be a very hard task indeed. Tamworth Fox, he's a bit out of position, he hasn't pitted yet. I'll just check, but I believe he hasn't pitted yet. He has pitted. Oh, that's interesting. I must have missed that. He pitted earlier, by the looks of it. So Tamworth's done pretty well. He's managed to get between Fanis and Mayhem Madness. So it's good work from the Force India driver. He's going to have slightly older tyres at the end though, so that might have an effect. So I suspect Mayhem will be able to get past him again. Oh, and Ipswich right behind Sargent coming out of the final chicane. Surely he's going to have the slipstream now. Struggling to straighten the car. Ipswich now. And Sargent goes off the circuit. And that's another place he's lost. Yep, I think you're right, Oogie. That's the only way I could see Tamworth Fox making a jump like that. He's made that work very nicely to his advantage. So at the front, that's a boy starting to really settle into a nice rhythm into this second and what should be final stint. Gamer is 3.3 behind. Fanis running in third, about 6 seconds behind. And Tamworth, ooh, just like contact there. Enough to break the wing, but that was a little too close for comfort under braking, going into the hairpin. So, heading into spoon curve. Finally remembered what that term was called. Fanis got a very good drive out of spoon. Let's go back to broadcast. There's Sargent, 10 seconds off the lead. Parkway, I wonder if he'll be able to catch him. And there's UK Tranquility, who's had a very, very quiet race. So the championship won't be decided here, but Tranquility, given Sargent's problems, a real missed opportunity for him to close the gap as it stands. Toro Rossos look like the Rainmeisters of Suzuka at the moment, because it just doesn't look like anyone else is going to touch them as we enter lap 17 of the F4 Japanese Grand Prix. It's pretty hard work commentating on the way. Still running in 6th. Sargent's still going out there. And it's Parkway closing. We'll keep an eye on that one. And in the other, Kentucky, very quiet race, running in 10th at the moment. In fact, he is the last runner, so it's guaranteed points finish for all of these guys if they finish. Had a few retirements during the race. We'll check the penalty situation in a few laps' time. It's settling down now, this race a bit, and I fear that I don't think we'll get too much excitement at the front the way Datsuboy's going. Found a really nice bit of pace in these wet conditions, and he's just eking out an advantage. Well, Gamer had a slightly faster lap there, knocking off by 10th, but at that rate it's not really going to be enough. And yeah, I like this view. It's a nice view to enter the first corner. Still keeping outs from Thanos. Haven't had too much helicopter cam today, which is a bit disappointing. But as we know, especially on a track like this where there's very little chance to rest, one slight mistake, the wrong wheel on the curve, and you can fly off the circuit. So that's a boy maybe looking good for the win right now, but he can't take anything for granted because in these conditions you just can't take any liberties. Tamworth made a slight error there. Now it's allowed Mayhem to get a bit closer. Takes a wider line, and Mayhem may think about taking the run in, but Tamworth had the better drive out of the hairpin. And Jake is not happy about the way his race has gone. If you're still watching, Jake, why did you get disqualified? I believe, Jake, that under the virtual safety car, he made a pit stop, and then when everyone else pitted, he jumped quite a few places. Runs wide. Oh, he catches it at 130R. That was a scary moment for the four-cylinder driver. He has lost time. Back end is kicking out all over the place, and that's allowing Mayhem to catch right on. Let's go on board with the four-cylinder driver. Can Mayhem get the slipstream? Well, strangely not, actually. Didn't get the run I thought he would, so well held by Tamworth there. This battling is allowing Fennis to comfortably start to get away from those two, but by the same merit, he is comfortably behind the two Toro Rossos. So, here is Datsuboy. Haven't seen too much of him recently, but he's in a class of his own at the moment. Up front, on the 19th lap of the F4 Japanese Grand Prix. Entering up towards the hairpin. Let's see what the gap is. Well, Gamer is eking it down a little bit. It's under 3 seconds now. But he's got to find more time than that. If he's going to think about challenging for his second win in a row after winning in Singapore. Here comes Fanis towards Spoon Curve. Main battle on track appears to be though for 4th place. Here's Ipswich running in 6th. Solid if unspectacular race from the Red Bull driver. And there's Sargent running in 7th. Parkway Drive getting ever closer by the lap. There's Tranquility. Well, he's not sure what's happened to him. 32 seconds behind now. He's had a disappointing afternoon. Or evening, I should say. Gap's gone up, back up to 3 seconds. And Mayhem, it's gone up to 4th. Oh, what's happened to Tamworth? Oh, it's come in again. Well, let's see what happened to him. Did he get a drive-through? Let's see. You got to go for exceeding the track limits. Oh dear, that's a disaster. He was going so well. I'll check the rest of the penalty shortly. He comes back out in 8th position. Well, that has spoiled what was a really, really good race for him. He got the strategy perfect with the virtual safety car, but unfortunately that stop-go penalty for exceeding the track limits too many times. He's dropped well back down again. So we have a quarter of the race to go now. Lap 20 of the Japanese Grand Prix for F4. He had some really good action in the earlier stages as Sergeant Datsaboy and Gamer battle for the lead. But it has settled down into a bit of a Mercedes-style procession at the front. But I doubt either one of the Toro Rosso drivers will care one bit about that, especially Datsaboy. He enters the first corner on the 21st lap. Let's just go away from them. I'm going to check all the penalties in the next couple of laps just to see if there is any chance for some changes. Now Fanis is under pressure for the final podium spot. These two have pretty much been together for the whole race. So let's keep an eye on these two for a bit. Going up through the centre S's. Fanis' back end kicks out a little bit, so he gets to the top of the hill. Oh, and it does again, just as they go to sector 1. Heading onto the bridge. Oh, Mayhem is really looking like he's shaping up a move somewhere. Take tight apex as you want to on that hairpin. Now we head up to the run up to the spoon curve. Mayhem gets a slightly better exit, but it's the lack of frontline speed. Seen that a couple of times in this. Seems to have the better grip in the corners, but when it gets to the high acceleration, it doesn't quite seem to have the speed. It's all that Tamworth a few laps ago when he was battling with him. Not a helpful view. Again, Fanis pulls away on the straight. Let's have a lower wing set up. So whatever setup that Mayhem has is giving him excellent grip through sections like this, but the two fast sections, it looks like Fanis has more top line speed, which is keeping him ahead at the moment, because in sector 1 and 2 Mayhem is certainly the quicker. Check at the front. Oh, it's all nice and serene. But that's a boy at the moment. And Gamer has dropped back to over 5 seconds now. So I think we may have made a few mistakes, but we may have just settled for second place, which wouldn't be a bad result given he won in Singapore. Let's go back to the battle for third. Fanis once again showing the better speed in the straight line. This has been a very clean battle between the two. Mayhem gets very close on the braking. But once again, it looks like Fanis is just going to pull away on the straight. I just don't think Mayhem's going to be close enough to make a move. It's a hard track to overtake on. If you don't have that top line speed. Oh, Fanis goes wide! Fanis goes wide! Oh, and Mayhem. Can he take third position? Change the view, please. And yes, Mayhem takes it. Wow, Fanis ran wide at turn 1, and that's gifted Mayhem the final podium position. Wow, what answers Fanis got? I want to check the penalties, but with this battling going on, I don't want to. I think think Ipswich is probably a bit too far back to challenge these two for the final podium with 4 laps to go. Oh, and Panis gets a slightly better exit out the hairpin. Mayhem keeps in front of him for now. To head towards the spoon curve. Take virtually identical lines. Let's go slightly wide. Mayhem certainly got a better exit there because he's managed to eke out a bit more of a gap. Let's go on boards. Goes up through the gears, not going to be close enough for a pass. What the gap is between those two, I think it's around a second. See the leader. Yep, that's the boy. Still 5.5 seconds now. Game is struggling a little bit with the grip towards the end of the race, it seems. Mayhem looking for a podium, which would be a really good result for him. He's currently 4th in the championship with 53 points, so this would be another 10 points for him. So that would be a good result for the Williams driver. Right, let's just quickly check the penalties one last time. I suspect there's a lot of them. I'm just seeing if there's any penalties that might affect the outcome at the front. So Gamer has 3 seconds there. That's the boy's got warnings. That's the boy has 3 seconds. Gamer has another 3 seconds. Penalties have been very unforgiving. So Gamer has 6 seconds of penalties, so I'll check Mayhem's penalties and Thanos, because no, Mayhem's got penalties as well. So I don't think they're going to figure into that. I don't believe Thanos has any penalties. Had some warnings. No, he's got 1 too. Thanos, yep, another penalty. So more or less the penalties are kind of even. A slow exit out turn 1 allows Thanos to catch up a bit. We're on lap 25 now. Ooh, slightly twitchy. Oh, come on. Tamworth Fox disqualified from the session, I suspect, from penalties. They've been pretty unforgiving today. Well, disappointing end for Tamworth's race. Made probably the best strategy call of the race when he came in on the virtual safety car. Managed to put him up to 4th. Really good jump there, but 4 got wrong for him in the end. So, do a quick rundown of the order as we enter the final 2 laps of the race. That's a boy starting further on the grids. Past Sargent, past Gamer in front of him to take the lead, and he's more or less, well, he has been there since making that move early on in the first half of the race. Then we've got Gamer, he was the pole position man, his Toro Rosso teammate, running the second at the moment. And then we've got what's been an excellent battle between Mayhem and Thanos for the final podium position. Thanos was in 3rd, but then made a mistake at turn 1 and lost the position to Mayhem. With this exact camera view actually. And then we've got Ipswich running in 5th. I think he's had a pretty decent race there. lower grid position. He's gained some places. Sargent's he's recovered. He's not had the best of races, it has to be said. He's very, very high standards. But I think the conditions have definitely played a massive part in that. But the good thing from his point of view is that his main championship rival, UK Tranquility, has not outscored him, it seems, in this race. So he's actually going to extend his lead to UK Tranquility, which makes his championship win in the final 3 races look almost certain. Parkway drives running in 7th. He's been trying to catch Sargent, hasn't quite close enough. Here's UK Tranquility running in 8th, and then Kentucky running in 9th, and the final runner. And That's a boy. Well, he's got 1 1/4 laps to go, and since the one and only pit stop, he's been in complete control of this Japanese Grand Prix. Excellent performance. We usually see him driving in Formula Performance, but in Formula 4 here at Suzuka, he's been in a class of his own. Final lap he enters. Gamer's been steadily dropping back. He's 6 seconds now, so he may as well just settle for that. So here's Mayhem running in 3rd. Fanis still trying to catch him. 1 lap to go. Switching 5th. Sargent 6th. Now, to be honest with you, there are so many penalties, I'm really not sure where some of these guys are going to finish. I think the only 2 positions which are dead certain are the top 2. That's the boy climbs up the hill from the Cineresis. Yep, I already have Valley. That's the boy. Only has 3 seconds of penalties, and I believe the game has 6 seconds. Mayhem and Fanis, I believe, have the same amount, 6 seconds. But yeah, I'm not going to check them again now because it is the final lap. So, that's the boy enters the spoon curve for the last time. I'm sure. Ooh. Game kicks out a little bit as he goes round. No real drama. It'd be absolutely heartbreaking for him if he put it into the wall now. Entering 1:30R for the final time. And into the chicane with that famous Ferris wheel in the background. And it's been fun at the fair for That's a Boy because he's going to cross the line and win the Japanese Grand Prix. Excellent drive from That's a Boy. And Gamer crosses the line in 2nd. Another superb drive from Gamer after winning the Singapore, and he follows up with a podium. Oh, and what happened to Fanis? I don't know what happened there. Missed that, unfortunately. It's my first day. Oh, and UK Tranquility has a puncher as well. Although I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if Fanis had one, but we'll find out. Well, that pretty much sums up Tranquility's race, to be honest. But there's 3 races to go, so I'm sure he'll be back and strong in Mexico. He finishes 8th. And here comes Union, who will finish in the final place. So, here are the positions then. So, That's a Boy wins, ahead of Gamer, and then Mayhem Madness gets a podium position. Ipswich finishes in 4th, Parkway in 5th. Fanis drops to 6th because of his penalties. And whatever happened to him at the end of the race, I suspect it was a puncher. Sargent finishes in 7th, Tranquility in 8th, and Union Kentucky finishes in 9th, who was the last of the classified finishers. So, yes, not the most action-packed race, but there were some good moments there, especially the battle for 3rd between Fanis and Mayhem, and the action at the beginning of the race. do have to wonder how different the race would have been if it had been from a standing start, but it is what it is. Thank you, Codemasters. So thanks for the race. I'm going to see if I can interview the top 3. Okay, just going to have to invite them. Good evening, that's a boy.
Hello.
Have you got your audio set to share?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure. I'll just double check. Yeah.
Excellent. Right, well, first of all, congratulations on winning the Japanese Grand Prix for Formula 4.
Thank you.
So it was very tough out there in the wet conditions. So just talk us through what happened in the early parts of the race. We had to have the rolling start, which is very different to a normal sort of start. So what was going through your mind as it started?
I think on the start of lap 3 it was all about just staying out of trouble, not crashing, especially turn 1. Everyone ran wide on turn 1 on lap 3. Then on lap 4 I saw that I was getting some good traction on Sargent, and I thought I might as well just go on the inside, look like I was going to give it a go. Made the move stick pretty well, and then did the same on Gamer. And then from there on it was just trying to put in consistent laps, but because the conditions were so difficult, it was tricky to keep putting in consistent laps. And then I was constantly getting warnings and penalties for drifting wide on turn 1. It was tricky, fun, but very tricky.
Right, well, it was a very good win. So, over to Gamer, have you got your chat on shared?
Yep. Wait,
Good.
I'll have a look. I'm pretty sure I do, though. Yes, I do.
Excellent. Well, Gamer, you won out last time in Singapore, and you got pole position here in Japan. But you finished second here, marking off a Toro Rosso 1-2, which was a fantastic result for the team. So you didn't quite have the pace to challenge Datsuboy at the end. So how did you see the race from your point of view?
Well, first of all, well done to Datsa. He was just blistering. He was so quick. I don't understand how he was. He's just like Verstappen, really, isn't he? Yeah, it was pretty boring, to be honest, from my end. Just trying to keep it on the track. I was going to pit the lap that he pit, which kind of annoyed me because I wanted the undercut, but he knew that evidently. So yeah, and that's just couldn't keep the pace with him. Managed to keep the gap to the people behind, trying to not get us penalties, but yeah.
Yes, it's. I'm guessing the tricky conditions played a big part in. There was a lot of penalties. I think only one person finished the race without any sort of penalties.
Yeah. Parkway, he's just amazing with that. He's
Right.
just so consistent.
Well, speaking of the Williams team, we have Mayhem Madness, who finished third today, continuing his recent solid form. So Mayhem, you had a really good battle with Fanis, who recently joined F4, and he ran wide late on in the race for you to take third position. So how did you see the race?
Yeah, most of my race was just looking at the back of someone's car. For the first stint, it was Sargent, and then for the second stint, I was just behind Fanis for ages, just waiting for him to make a mistake, because I was not going to be able to overtake him track without something happening. He went wide, set the corner, as you said, and I just went for it because I knew that was going to be my only chance. And luckily, made it stick.
Yes, the one thing I noticed was that your setup was excellent for sectors 1 and 2, but then in the final sector, on the faster sections, Fanis was getting away. So, to me, it seemed like it would take a mistake for you to get past, and I guess from your point of view, it was a good thing it did.
Yeah, I was running 9-9 wings because I knew it was going to be wet. And that's why I was so slow on the straight, but good in sector 1 and 2.
Yeah. Right, so next up in Formula 4 is Mexico. So what are your thoughts on that track, Datsaboy?
Quite like it. It's kind of a back to basics track. Really like sector, I think it's 2 or the start of sector 3. You've got the S's in the middle part of the track. I really like that. If you get it right, you can gain a lot of time. I've done it a couple of times on time trial, pretty fast. Yeah, looking forward to it.
And I guess for Gamer, you've recently joined this division, as Datsaboy has. Would you two like to be teammates for the next season?
I think he's already decided that, hasn't he? I think he's with Fanis. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's the answer to your question then.
Well, there you go. And one final question for all three of you. Rosberg or Hamilton to win the title tomorrow? Datsaboy?
Hamilton.
Gamer?
I want Hamilton to win, but Rosberg will probably just finish second and win.
And Mayhem?
Hopefully Verstappen can take out Rosberg into turn 1. That's what I'm hoping for.
That will be
For
some
us to
feat
win.
from his start position. Anyway, a big congratulations to the top 3. This is our podium for the Japanese Grand Prix, and this is where we end the session. Goodbye, everybody.